Can you talk to us about this morning and hearing guilty counts on obviously 11 of the 12 charges, and of course the bifurcated one? Can you just give us some of your reaction to this today?
It's been a long wait. We trust juries to weigh the evidence, to be thoughtful in their deliberations, and this jury was. When we saw that it was a verdict, we were hopeful that it was guilty of all counts. It ended up being that, but yes, it was a little bit of a wait, but ultimately it was well worth the result that they came to after their thoughtful consideration and deliberation.
And can you talk to us about the waiting between those two guilty verdicts and just that you had those 3 counts that came in on Friday and obviously the deliberation over the weekend? What were your conversations with the family like in between that?
Well, I just let them know that this happens in cases. There's a lot of evidence, and you have to consider that jurors come in and from their day jobs, and next thing you know, they're listening to over 70 witnesses, looking through 100 exhibits, and it takes a while to process that information. So what I tried to let them know is that hopefully it will get a result following the weekend.
Do you feel justice was had after today's trial?
Absolutely. It's been a long time. The investigation obviously began back when the incident happened, but thousands of man hours went into the investigation by Bakersfield Police Department. Our office spent hundreds of hours. We did a grand jury indictment and ultimately preparing for this case. But the effort was absolutely worth it. Case and Guyton deserved justice in court, and that is what he got today.
And can you talk to us about, you talked about the time between the cases. This was several years of having to wait on this. I mean, this must have felt like some relief for the family, I imagine, to get that justice, no matter how long it took.
Correct. It takes, these types of investigations take time. They take us working in partnership with the Bakersfield Police Department or whatever investigating agency is involved, and that's what happened in this case. In cases that have this amount of evidence, we do grand jury indictments. Those take time to prepare for as well. And so, yes, once we got to that process, we worked, of course, with the family, and we thank them for trusting us in prosecuting this case. We thank them for being there, supporting what we were doing and understanding what we were building for, which is today, justice for Kaysen and Brian Guyton Jr.
And I know we have sentencing coming up next month. Can you walk us through the process there and what the family is looking for there, and perhaps what you're looking for, if anything, too?
Well, ultimately, based on the charges that he was convicted of, he's looking at life without the possibility of parole. There's other charges, other case, but that's his ultimate sentence. And ultimately, at sentencing, the Guyton family will be able to speak and really provide what happened to them and the effect that this has had on their family, to lose Kaysen and then also Brian Guyton Jr. being shot as well.
And does the admitted enhancement change anything about sentencing?
It doesn't. It's just gang enhancements that were associated with the other charges, so it won't add any time to what he would already receive.
As well with the no contest on number 12?
That was active participant in a criminal street gang. So again, that doesn't add anything to what he's already facing.
Do the gang enhancements, does that send a message at all to other people that maybe in Kern County and other activities that are going on?
Well, and that's what in my closing argument, I tried to bring this up, is that the effect of gang violence does nothing but tear families apart. And in this case, what was an altercation at a mall ended to the death of a 5-year-old child. It should have never happened. And the effect on the community, the effect on families, that's our goal, is to suppress gang violence and ultimately convict those that are involved in it.
Do you think this is a step forward in ending that?
I can't speak to that because it's been going on for a long time. We just hope in this particular case, justice for the Guyton family.
Looking forward to sentencing date, maybe for the family?
Sentencing date, November 19th, and yes, at that point the family will be able to speak about the effects that it's had on them.
Did you say anything about how we heard about 9, 10, and 11 on Friday, but not the first date? It was sent back, and then an hour after the jury resumed this morning, suddenly was there anything to any of that? Or?
Well, I mean, they were instructed by the court to consider those cases separately. And so when they go back, they don't consider it as a whole, they consider it separately. So they came to a verdict on that, and those counts, 9 through 11, and the judge read those verdicts. But ultimately, they didn't have a decision at that point for the others, and they deliberated some more on Friday, and then also another hour this morning, and ultimately came to a decision.
The decision obviously doesn't bring Kaysen back, and I think about his brother, who was a witness earlier on in the trial. Almost half of his life now has been dedicated just to this. He was, in elementary school. Now he's a high schooler. Do you think that this finally puts them at peace?
Well, and I can't speak to what effect this will have on them. Obviously, none of this brings back Kaysen. None of this takes away the pain that he suffered of getting shot in the leg. All I noted to the jury was his bravery, getting up there and being a witness in this case, speaking to what happened. You saw in this case so many adults who couldn't do that, but he did it, and he was so brave. And he's been brave throughout this process. Even when he was lying in a hospital bed shot, he provided such important evidence in this case. So I can speak to that.
Else we're missing?
I don't think so. All right. Have a good day.
Thank you.